Yes, folks, here we go then. We have got today the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tiger Force edition of Recondo. Lovely little surprise to arrive in the post today. In fact, I didn't even know the delivery had happened. I opened up the front door to take some of the rubbish out to the bins, and there it was, a box just waiting for me. Unexpected, didn't have an email, didn't have a card through the door, nothing like that. And here he was, Recondo. Now, I know he's been out and about. I've seen some photos of some folks that have received theirs, import stock and what have you. But yeah, this came super fast. My retailer that I've ordered this from is still showing April on their website, so something strange going on there. But who am I to complain when I've got a brand new G.I. Joe Classified figure to be swooning over, or let's hope I'm swooning over it. Let's find out. So let's have a quick look at the packaging before I unbox this bad boy. We can see that it's still windowed packaging here at this point. We've not moved into full-on windowless packaging. We're getting a few that are windowless, a few that are windowed. Recondo's obviously still in the old model there, which means we can see the figure in packaging, all the goodies and accessories around the side. Got the Tiger Force logo here to indicate it's the Tiger Force version, and then some interesting artwork up the side of the box of package here, showing Recondo kind of, at work. I think that's got a kind of classic comic booky feel to it, actually. Like you'd see that on the cover of an IDW continuity issue or something. And of course that artwork is continued onto one of the sides. We can see there, nice close-up on Recondo's face, then a helicopter coming in out the sun, got a very kind of Apocalypse Now vibe to it there. And there he is at the bottom, making his way through the jungle, looking down his sights, probably taking care of some naughty vipers. So yeah, that's lovely artwork down the side there. Very evocative of sort of 70s, 80s Vietnam movies there. So loving that. Then on the other side, it's the data card. You can obviously cross-reference this on the website. I've mentioned this many times before. We've got like a shield with a star in it, which means, I don't know, you got a participation award for something. A row of bullets, so he knows a thing or two about guns, I imagine. Then a telescope, so Recondo's a stargazer. Likes to do his stargazing. And then we've got like a little circle with some palm trees in and stuff. So widely travelled, likes a tropical holiday, something like that. And he's number 55 in the line. Let's take a look at the back. And the back is the standard Tiger Force back. This kind of jungle scene with these sort of ancient temple steps, but then like some new modern-y steps and some zoomed in bits on some structures. I've never really understood what this Tiger Force back is all about, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it's pleasant enough to look at, I suppose. All the legal bollocks at the bottom there. Legal bollocks, incidentally, across the very bottom of the box. I'm not going to bother looking at that. So yeah, there we go. There's the packaging. Let's get this bad boy open then, shall we? So I'm going to slip my finger in there. I've already popped the tape. It's just the, paperwork. And slide the plastic out like so. It's the classic Tiger Force back. And here we go. Here's Recondo in the package then. So we've got his like big kind of, what's this called? A Bowie knife? Bowie knife? Crocodile Dundee knife. I don't know, whatever. It's his big knife thing. Then a little handgun, little snub pistol. Then his rifle, which is a very interesting aspect to the figure, actually. There. Then the hat, of course, his signature hat. Big old backpack. And then, I hate this plastic noise, the figure himself. Out you come, Recondo. Let's have a closer look at that stache and mullet, please. And there we are, Recondo and all his goodies. So, as usual, folks, I'm going to go away, have a bit of man-child playtime, do some posing, take some photos, just get hands-on with the figure, and then I'll be back in a couple of days' time once I feel like I've gathered my thoughts. So for me, it's going to be a couple of days, but for you, it'll be just a few minutes, so stick around because I'll be back to review it in 3, 2, 1... And here we are then, folks. Here is Recondo out of the package. It's been a couple of days now since I recorded the unboxing section of this video that you've just watched. And I've been away like usual, had my man-child playtime with the figure. I've been posing him up. I've been taking some photos. I've had him hanging out with the fellow Tiger Force members that I have in my collection. And now I'm back, ready to share some review thoughts on the figure. So, if you're new around these parts, just to let you know, I have a very simple structure that I follow for my reviews. It's called the 3 A's. The first A is aesthetic. So the first section of the review is going to be talking about how Recondo looks. What kind of impact is he having on the eye? Do we like the way he looks? Do we not like the way he looks? How are the paint apps? How is the sculpt? all that good stuff. Then the second A is Articulation. Just have a quick look and a run through on how well he moves. And then finally, the third A is all about added value and accessories. What extra goodies have we got with Recondo to make him worth the price tag? And with all that said and done, hopefully my review thoughts today, if you're thinking about picking up a Recondo of your own, I'll have helped you make a decision as to whether this is the figure for you or not. So let's not dilly-dally around and let's get into it. Let's talk about how he looks. Okay, then I've brought Recondo a little bit nearer to the camera so that we can make a closer inspection of the visual elements of this character. And overall, all told, yeah, he's a good-looking character. I saw a comment on one of my Instagram posts that I made when I first got the figure through the doorstep of someone saying, oh, well, he's not the colour combination that we wanted, but actually it's pretty damn good. And I'd have to agree. I think I'm kind of somewhat sort of falling in love with this more than I thought I might. But there are some elements that have irked me since I've been playing around with it and getting to grips with the figure in a little bit more detail. And let's start by taking a closer look at the head sculpt, shall we? So the head sculpt is an absolute banger. I am very, very happy with the Recondo head sculpt. It's very rare that I am unhappy with the G.I. Joe Classified Series head sculpt, to be fair. Very, very impressed with this one. Obviously, the big old handlebar moustache is a big part of the visual identity of the character, and they've absolutely nailed that element there. It's big, it's bushy, it's well painted, it's got the hair sculpting within it, it's got loads of character, loads of personality, really helps tell the Recondo story. That and the mullet, which we'll take a closer look at in a minute. Oh, brilliant, love it. That's some exceptional hair work going on there, Recondo. Respect, brother, on the handlebar moustache. But even with the big tash dominating the facial features, you can really see there's a bit of an expression underneath. There's a bit of a kind of smirky thing going on, which I really like. Gives him a little bit of a sense of humour, a little bit of character, and a wee touch of cheeky charisma as well, which I really, really enjoy. And of course, in order to bring that smirk to life, you can see all the kind of key facial features incredibly well sculpted. The nose, the cheeks, the chin and the lips and everything. Paint applications all super neat and tidy throughout, so you can see on the lips and the eyes and the eyebrows and the little bit of, there's a little bit of wear and tear there, a few creases in the old forehead, reflecting that Recondo's, a little bit further on in the ears, but that's all good. Let's have a look at the hair sculpt here. Yeah, lovely, nice sculpt there. As always, I often say this, it could have perhaps done with a little bit of a wash to give it a little bit more life, a little bit more flavour. I suppose with characters like Recondo, where they're betting on the vast majority of the time it being covered by the hat, I suppose it's kind of a little bit more forgivable than, like, I suppose with Zorano, where they've put more work into the hair sculpt and the colour scheme and everything that's going on there. But it's all very good. And of course, the mullet that I talked about. I mean, what more is there to say about the mullet other than that clearly secures Recondo as the most, hands down, fashionable G.I. Joe that there is as part of the unit? No question. Fight me on it in the comments down below. You can see moving down the figure as well, there's lots of other visual elements to add the character some texture and some depth outside of the fashion statement that's going on above the shoulders. We've got a nice leathery effect there on the holster and on the straps here across his chest, holding the holster in place. We've got the brown painted sections there for the belt and for the his like little machete sheath and pocket thing there, which is good. Then the textured pants that they have on the G.I. Joe Classified figures, I appreciate that, the kind of fabric texture that brings it to life. Nice neat paint applications as well on the tiger stripes, a little neat pink paint application here on the front with the watch that's hanging down and the watch on his wrist. Got the shiny silvery face and the nice neatly painted brown watch strap too, which is lovely. The colour scheme works really well too. The brown straps, the brown belt, the brown machete sheath and the brown boots frame up the combat pants and the black shirt nicely as well. So it's got a nice balance to it, a nice symmetry, which makes it pleasing on the eye. Always like the symmetry. And again, just that whole idea of telling the story, telling the narrative of the character, the uniform, the colour scheme choices all contribute to that. Got to take a moment to pause on the shirt though. Even though I like the colour scheme, the black shirt over the top of the Tiger Force coloured pants, we've got a little bit of a crime here on Recondo. Regular viewers will have been waiting for me to point this out. This top section of the shirt is really shiny again. What's that all about? Just like Dusty. Oh, in fact, is that the same shirt? They've reused the book there? No, it's a different shirt, isn't it? Different collar and everything, but still the same shiny shirt syndrome going on. They're like a pair of shiny shirt bros. Hey man, I dig that shiny shirt. It's not that egregious, obviously, but once I see it, I can't stop seeing it. And what particularly bothers me is the contrast of the main body of the shirt here, where it's all kind of shiny and plasticky, with the shirt on the arms and the little sticky out bit shirt below the belt. Yeah, it's just one of those things. There's probably some remedial action that I could take if I wanted to customize it, but I don't know. Yeah, it bugs me. It bugs me. The shiny shirt piece. Stop making that bit plasticky after all the time and effort you put into giving him really fabricy kind of textured pants and making the holster look leather and giving it a great face sculpt. You got to bring me into the reality of it and remind me that it's a plastic toy, and I'm like, no, I'm playing. Stop it. Oh, and while I'm on the subject of both Dusty and the sticky outy bit of shirt, they've followed the same model, the same methodology here to have the shirt sticking out from under the belt. So they've attached the little skirty section of sticky outy shirt to the molded belt piece. This doesn't work for me. I mentioned it on the Dusty figure. It's not quite as bad. It doesn't stand out quite as much on Recondo though. By comparison, it stood out more on Dusty to me. This one doesn't seem to float as much as Dusty's did, and therefore it doesn't kind of stand out just as much. But it's not, the visual effect is not working, I think, the way they intended there. I get what they were trying to do. I don't know how they could alternatively engineer that. Yeah, I've got no idea. I've got no constructive alternative solution to offer. But again, it's just one of those things that once I kind of see it, just another one of those things that once you notice it, you can't stop kind of noticing it, and it's not quite working. A new idea perhaps needed for that visual effect there. So other than those sort of small criticisms about the shirt area, overall he's a good looking figure. He sits well within the display. In fact, I'd probably argue he sits a little bit too well in the display. I'm happy I went for the Tiger Force version because I wanted that differing flavour. But I don't know if the flavour of Recondo we've got here is different enough. When you think about Outback with his orange tiger t-shirt, or you've got Bazooka with the alternative colour football shirt that's quite striking, it's white and red and blue. They maybe missed a little bit of an opportunity to do something a little bit more colourful with Recondo here and a little bit more personalised. I don't know what necessarily, but he has blended in a little bit too well visually with the likes of, Flint and Beachhead and sort of the colour palette variety. He sits kind of a bit nicer with those guys than he does with the rest of Tiger Force in a kind of strange way. When you've got him next to Bazooka and Outback, he kind of looks a little bland, which is curious, even though he's not actually when you stop and look at him, independently here like this. So, I'm happy with the way he looks. So, perhaps an opportunity missed. With the Tiger Force alternative variant to do something just a little bit more jazzy, a little bit more exciting, like they've done with Outback and like they've done with Bazooka. I didn't buy the Duke, actually. I'll have to go back and have a look and see what they've done with him, whether he's got something a little bit jazzy and exciting in the colour scheme. Yeah, my memory's failing me now while I'm on the hot mic. But there you go. So Recondo, solid, good looking, great face sculpt, awesome tash, very neatly put together, shiny shirt, possibly a bit boring. So first day, thumbs up. Doing good guns there, Recondo. Well done. Let's move into the second day, Articulation. But I'm going to whistle through this because basically if you've had another G.I. Joe classified figure in hand, you know what the script is here. It is the standard model. They followed the same format, which is no bad thing because the articulation on the G.I. Joe classified figures is top notch. But let's get into it. So above the shoulders here in the head, we've got the joints inside, the ball joint, and then the joints at the bottom of the neck. So we've got some all the way round. We've got tilt. We've got looking down, pretty decent looking down. So the only thing that's not so great is the looking up because the shirt collar and the mullet there obstruct your ability to get his head all the way up. Then in the shoulders, we've got the G.I. Joe Classified butterfly joint. These were quite stiff out the box, actually. I had to get a bit of hairdryer action on those to get them to this range of motion here, but they're solid. They're good. And I'm happy to give it a little blast of hot air to get things going. Then we can get the shoulders up into the T. Then we've got the swivel at the bicep and tricep there. Double elbow that goes all the way up to there. And then the standard pegged-in hands that can swivel in the wrist. And then both sides, left and right, have got hinges up and down like so. And it's standard G.I. Joe Classified legs as well. We've got the drop-down joint in the hip there, giving a good range of motion out. Obviously, when he's got his machete in the sheath, you can see that gets in the way and bends there. But the motion's there. We've got decent kick forward as well. And you could go back, but obviously the arse mould there gets in the way. Thigh cut at the top of both of the legs. Again, talking about needing a bit of heat, bit of stiffness, the thigh cuts at the top of the legs were very stiff for me out the box. In fact, this one here is still a little bit creaky. So bear that in mind, folks, bear that in mind. Double knee taking you up to there. Swivel at the top of the boot. And then the standard hinge and rocker on the feet there. So yeah, the articulation is what we've come to know and expect from the G.I. Joe Classified series range. Nothing particularly innovative or exciting about Recondo, but that's okay really, because I like the G.I. Joe Classified articulation. I think it's got all the various points that I like and enjoy when it comes to posing my figures for display or for photographs. So yeah, thumbs up on articulation. Everything's all nice and solid. Decent amount of resistance out the box. I'm comfortable with a little bit of heat application. It wasn't a great deal, folks. It's not like I had to bath him for hours or anything. So yeah, rock solid. Nothing more to say on articulation. Let's have a chat about his accessories now. First up, the headwear. We've got Recondo's hat here, the blue slouch hat with the green like trimmings on it there. It's a nice sculpt. It's got a look of some texture about it. We've got the little air holes at the sides. We've got the stud where he's pinned up one of the flaps there on the side of his hat. There's some texture in the scarf that he's got tied around the body of the hat. It's a good looking piece. I like the colour combination. That blue is at least a little splash of variety. I was mentioning before about the missed opportunity to give him a little bit more of a colour palette, and I suppose at least there's a bit of something going on, even if it is a navy blue. But yeah, it's a good piece. I like it. Big part of the visual identity of the character. Gives him loads of personality, which I love. Good fit on the head there as well. Nice and tight, nice and firm. It's not going to come off anytime soon. See? Not coming off anytime soon, that. So yeah, that's a lovely addition. And then they do the headgear pretty well at G.I. Joe Classified, and that's no exception. Then into Recondo's weaponry selection, we've got his rifle here. You can see that it's a black moulded piece of plastic with some sculpted detail in it, and then these grey cloths around the the handguard and the grip there, just to add it a little bit more flavour and personality. The magazine is removable. Comes in and out of the magazine channel like so. That was inside the weapon out of the blister pack. Sometimes you get the magazines packaged separately, don't you? But no, that was already inside the rifle there. It's an interesting look. It's an interesting rifle. It's I think that's the first time we've seen that in G.I. Joe Classified, but it's a bit different and quite unique to Recondo at this point, so that's nice to see. It's quite a thin weapon. I think you can see there mine was a little bit bent and warped. I've obviously got it back as close to straight as I could over the last couple of days, but the barrel's still a little bit bendy there. I'll get that sorted out, but that's something to be mindful of, folks. You might need to straighten your gun out, your rifle out. And that fits into the hand with the classic G.I. Joe Classified kind of push down and twist into the trigger, like so. Then Recondo has a handgun. This is a single piece of moulded plastic as well in the black, but it's got some nice sculpted detail in there to give it some lift. Got the open barrel there if you want to put some firing effects in. Thank you, Valaverse. So that's decent enough. That's fine. Little snub pistol thing. That's cool. And his holster's just here across his chest. Fits in there like that. Nice and snug. That's not like the hat. That's not going to be falling out anytime soon. See? Then we've got his big knifey thing. I've been calling it a machete, but I don't know if that is a machete. So call out to the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles viewing community. You never let me down, filling a gap in my knowledge there. Is that a machete? I seem to remember Danny Trejo in the movie having something long and straight, whereas this has got the curved edge on it there, which means it's possibly unique and has its own name. I'd love to have that gap in my knowledge filled, folks, so let me know in the comments below. But as you can see, nice metallic paint job on the blade there. It's sculpted to have the sharp edge looking sharp, you know, as sharp edges are. And then we've got a nice little bit of detail in the hilt here too. Once again, showing that attention to detail that we've come to know and love from G.I. Joe Classified. Got a little sheath here on his left leg that it goes into. There's a cutaway on the top section here, so that with the curved shape of it, you can just slide it in nice and snug, like so. There we go. Then he can carry it about his person. Finally, we've got Recondo's backpack here. Very pleased with this, actually. I don't know if folks out there watched my G.I. Joe Classified Series 2023 wish list, but one of the items on that list was that they started adding a bit more colour to the backpacks. And lo and behold, the first figure I get since making that wish list, we get two tones, two colours. Look at that. We've got his, like, what's that, like a little carry tent, little roll-out bed mat, something, whatever it is, there for camping out in the jungle at night, which is in this kind of brown colour, and then the rest of the body is green. I'd still like a little bit more, like in the straps and buckles and whatnot, or a bit more flavour like the Viper's backpack was, but otherwise, I'm still pleased to see a little bit of colour variety in the backpack, and you can see it's a well-sculpted piece as well, with the pockets and the straps and the buckles, and his water canteen there and stuff, so yeah, very good. I like that sculpting there on the mat roll. Lovely, yeah, lovely piece of work. And that fits onto him with the standard kind of peg and hole setup, like so. So it's another thumbs up for Recondo in terms of accessories and added value. It's a solid accessory selection there. All makes sense, all adds up with the story and the personality of the character, and will help you tell those narratives, tell those stories with what you've got there. Loving the fact that he's got a bit of a unique weaponry selection that we've not really seen before, particularly the rifle and his machete, if it's a machete thing. And the hat's cool. The hat's cool. Big part of his visual identity there. So it works. All adds up. Yeah, very happy with the accessory selection. Nothing more to say on that front. I don't know where else to go with that. Figure comparison time now, guys, and here's Recondo with his Tiger Force bros, at least the ones I have in my collection. I don't own a Duke. I think maybe you can see with them lined up there what I was talking about a bit earlier on with regards to the kind of colour schemes, the colour palette. He sort of falls into the background a little bit when you compare him to the larger, more muscular physiques of Outback and Bazooka, but also the more striking and eye-catching colour schemes. Although I've got to give Recondo a little bit of a break, because I'm hard-pressed to find a figure that I like more than Outback. I think he's still my number one at the moment, still my fave. So yeah, it's a good fit. There's a nice bit of variety in them. You know, even the combat pants, even though there's some element of uniformity in the way that they're dressed, it's not all exactly the same, which is nice, which is good, which works. But yeah, I just think the green, black and blue falls into the background a little bit when compared to the kind of orange and red and white and stuff that we've got going on with the other guys. Here's Recondo with Flint, perhaps further illustrates what I was talking about with regards to the fact that even though he's a Tiger Force figure, the Recondo colour scheme kind of blends a little bit more with the kind of standard uniform look of a G.I. Joe Classified with greens and blacks and stuff. And to further add insult to injury, Flint's shirt ain't shiny. Here's Recondo with the Sarge, mostly because Sarge is new and he's still hanging around a lot in the kind of front of my display, but also to demonstrate that, again, that different physique. You can see the height difference there. You can see the kind of shoulder width difference. And tell me, folks, have you been able to take your eyes off that shiny shirt? I bet you haven't, especially when I've been putting him next to the other figs. And here we go finally with the Crimson Guard. This is the mainline version with the black faceplate and the black rucksack and the slightly darker red. I just like to make sure that I put a villain in the mix, really, when I'm doing the figure comparisons with the Joes, and vice versa. I always like to put a Joe in with the Cobras. So yeah, there you go. There's your villain. And here we go then. Here is Recondo making his way around on the turntable. This is the pose that I've had him in with the other members of the Tiger Force. I've been working on my posing and I was going for a kind of at ease, taking a moment, receiving some orders type thing with the three of them, and that's where I kind of landed with Recondo. Although if you go and take a look on my Instagram, you'll see that I also was trying out a few sort of taking a nap positions with them as well, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think overall, there's nothing really actually wrong with this figure at all. He's been thumbs up all the way through. Got the shiny shirt. All right, that's a bit annoying. Got the weird shirt skirt thing. That's a bit annoying. The machete gets a little bit in the way when I'm trying to pose him. Meh, is what it is. I think the thing is that he's not standout. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got so used to recently having standout G.I. Joe Classified Series figures in the collection that when a pretty straightforward infantryman with an interesting hat comes along, I'm a bit like, he's good. Yeah, he's solid, but he's not a Serpentor. He's not a Crimson Guard. He's not a Sergeant Slaughter, which have got really kind of idiosyncratic elements to them, really unique aspects that, and a lot of shelf presence and lift. You know, Zorana with her hair and the pink bits and jeans, and so I'm possibly somewhat a little bit more down on Recondo than he deserves for me to be, because actually, objectively, he's a really solid addition to the line. I like the way he adds another element to the Tiger Force corner of the collection. I'm happy to have the variant version rather than the standard version. I don't know. I think maybe if they'd just done one little extra thing with the colour scheme, that would have done it for me. But he's thumbs up all around, so I don't know why I'm being so blue about it or talking so negatively, really, because he is a really good G.I. Joe Classified figure. Good accessories, great articulation, great sculpt. I don't know what else I want, really. I think my opinion is just being slightly affected by the fact that we've had some of the more colourful and more dynamic shelf presences of late. When, you know, every force needs a good, solid jungle dude who could take care of business, and that's who Recondo is. And the stache. The stache work's exceptional. And I need more great stash work on my G.I. Joe Classified Series shelf. So there we are then. That's Recondo in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed my review today. I wanted to take a brief moment before I finished up to say a massive thank you once again to all the new subscribers who've come and joined me here on MoDXtra Games and Collectibles in the last couple of months. The number just keeps going up and up and up, and I'm absolutely blown away by the support, the comments, the likes, and just getting views alone is mind-blowing. So thank you very much. If you're not already subscribed, then please do make sure you hit the subscribe button. But that's it. I'm done. It's Chris. I'm finishing up. It's been a pleasure to have you with me here today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you around these parts again sometime soon. See you later, folks.